Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 5 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you say NTA. Story 1. My fiancé's drug-addict son wants me to pay for rehab. Okay, so let me set the scene for you. I'm 37, I'm a guy, and I'm engaged to this amazing woman, also 37. She's got 2 sons from a previous relationship, 16 and 19. Now the younger one, he's got his head screwed on straight, thinks way beyond his age, genuinely a good kid. But the older one, the 19-year-old, he's a mess. And I don't mean he smokes a little weed on weekends, I want to be clear, I've got nothing against pot. I'm talking hard, unhealthy stuff. Real drugs. The kind that ruin lives. So here's the backstory. Over 3 years ago I moved to Switzerland for work. About a year after that I met my fiancée, she was still living in her home country at the time. This year, she finally packed up and moved in with me, which was a huge step for both of us. Her sons stayed behind living with their biological father, which honestly made sense given the situation with the older one and his issues. Now here's where it gets messy. Ever since she moved here, the older son has been spiraling even more back home. Apparently without her physically there to manage things day to day, he's gotten worse. And now there's pressure, from her family, maybe even from him directly, for me to basically step up and help financially or otherwise with this kid's problems. A kid who isn't mine, who I've barely built a relationship with, who has a living biological father who's supposed to be handling this. I love my fiancée. I want to support her through this because I can see it's tearing her apart. But I did not sign up to be the financial or emotional rescue plan for a drug addiction that isn't mine to fix. I've told her I'll support her emotionally, I'll listen, I'll help her find resources, but I'm not funneling money into a situation that has an actual father who should be handling it. She thinks I'm being cold. She thinks that because we're getting married, this becomes my problem too, whether I like it or not. But I keep thinking about boundaries, about what happens if I start paying for rehab or lawyers or whatever comes next, and it becomes an expectation forever. My friends here in Switzerland think I'm right to hold this line. Her family back home thinks I'm heartless. So tell me, am I actually the bad guy for refusing to bankroll my future stepson's addiction recovery, or is this just what you sign up for when you marry someone with kids, even complicated ones? Where's the line between supporting your partner and inheriting problems that were never yours to solve in the first place? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. Neighbor's kids kept attacking my beehives, so I built a bee-powered sprinkler trap. Alright, so picture this. I'm 34, I've got a few beehives set up in my backyard, been keeping them for about 3 years now. They're mostly for pollinating my garden, but I get a nice little honey harvest too, it's become kind of my thing. For the past few months though, my neighbor Dan's kids have developed this delightful little hobby. They climb up on their side of the fence and start chucking rocks and pine cones at my hives, just to watch the bees swarm out and freak out. Like it's entertainment for them. I caught them doing it multiple times, and every single time I calmly walked over and told them to knock it off, explained that bees get aggressive when their hive is disturbed, explained that someone could actually get hurt, not just them but anyone nearby, including my dog, including me. They'd nod, act like they understood, and then a few days later, same thing all over again. I even talked to Dan about it directly, told him what was happening, and he sort of brushed it off, gave me the classic kids will be kids response, didn't really do anything to stop it. So after the 3rd or 4th time of asking nicely and getting nowhere, I decided I needed a solution that didn't involve me standing guard in my backyard all day like some kind of bee bodyguard. I set up a motion-activated sprinkler system aimed right at that section of the fence where they always climb up. The idea was simple: if they climb up to throw stuff again, they get blasted with water and hopefully lose interest fast. And it worked exactly as planned. Next time they climbed up to launch their little rock attack, the sprinkler kicked on, soaked them both head to toe, and they went running back inside screaming. 20 minutes later, guess who's banging on my door? Dan, furious, saying I traumatized his kids, that I could have hurt them, that a sprinkler is an aggressive overreaction to just kids playing around. I pointed out that his kids were tormenting living creatures that can actually sting people, that I'd asked repeatedly for it to stop, and that water from a sprinkler is about as harmless a deterrent as you can possibly get. He wasn't having it though. He thinks I've escalated this whole thing unnecessarily and that I should have just built a taller fence or moved my hives instead of quote, weaponizing my yard against children. Meanwhile I'm sitting here thinking, I tried the nice way for months, this is literally just water, and nobody got hurt. So tell me, was setting up a sprinkler to stop kids from provoking my bees a fair response after being ignored for months, or did I really take it too far by turning my backyard into some kind of booby-trapped zone? What would you have done if kind words weren't working anymore? Story 3. I work 40 hours and do all the housework, so I asked my jobless husband to help. Okay, so here's my situation and I honestly can't tell anymore if I'm losing perspective on this. Back at the beginning of July, my husband lost his job. Just like that, gone. And obviously that's stressful for both of us, I get it, job loss is rough. But since then, my work hours have basically exploded. I went from doing my usual 20 hours a week to 30, then to 40, all to make up for the massive gap in our income now that he's not bringing anything in. We've got kids, so this isn't just about money, it's about keeping our entire household running. To give you an idea of what my days look like now, I'm getting up at 3 a.m. to be at work by 4, and then I don't get to bed until around 10 p.m. because of the kids, homework, dinner, bedtime routines, all of it. That's incredibly close to a 19-hour day, most days. Now here's the part that's really eating at me. Because I've been working so much more, I've naturally had to cut back on housework. I just don't have the time or energy anymore to do everything I used to do around the house on top of working double my normal hours. So I asked him, since he's home all day with no job right now, if he could pick up the slack. Cleaning, laundry, making sure the kids are fed and taken care of during the day, the basic stuff I used to handle before my hours tripled. And he got mad. Like actually upset with me, saying I've changed, that I'm not doing my part anymore, that he expects the house to be kept the way it used to be kept. But I keep thinking, the way it used to be kept was when I had way more free time and he had a full-time job outside the house. Now the roles are basically flipped in terms of time availability, and I'm the one bringing in the income while also still doing school pickups and dinner most nights when I get home exhausted. He says he's been applying for jobs, but from what I can see it's not exactly a full-time effort, definitely nowhere near the effort I'm putting into working 40 hours on top of barely sleeping. I'm not asking him to do everything, I'm asking him to do what I used to do, since I literally cannot physically do both anymore, something has to give. He thinks I'm being unfair and controlling, like I'm trying to boss him around during an already hard time for him. But I think I'm just asking for basic reciprocity when the entire structure of our household income and time has flipped upside down. So tell me, am I really the jerk here for expecting my unemployed husband to pick up housework while I'm working nearly double the hours and running on almost no sleep? Or is this just what partnership is supposed to look like when circumstances change? Story 4. I let my jobless brother live rent-free, then started charging him when he stopped trying. So this whole thing started about 3 months ago when my brother Marcus lost his job. He called me up, asked if he could crash at my place while he figured things out and job hunted, and I said yes immediately, no hesitation. I cleared out my spare room for him, told him don't even worry about rent for the first month, just focus on getting back on your feet. That's what family does, right? Month 2 rolls around, still no job for him, but okay, job hunting takes time sometimes, I got that too when I went through my own rough patch a while back. But here's where I started noticing things that didn't sit right with me. He wasn't really trying that hard. I'm talking sleeping till noon most days, gaming all afternoon and into the evening, and from what I could tell, sending out maybe 1 job application a week. Meanwhile, my grocery bill had basically doubled since he moved in, our utility bills went up noticeably, and the Wi-Fi usage tripled from all the gaming and streaming he was doing. I wasn't trying to be petty about tracking all this, it just became impossible not to notice when the bills started coming in. So by the start of month 3, I sat him down and told him I needed him to start contributing something, even if it was a modest rent amount, just to help cover the extra costs he was adding to the household, and also honestly to give him a little motivation to actually get moving on the job search instead of treating my place like a free hotel with unlimited snacks and internet. He did not take it well at all. He accused me of kicking him while he's down, said family is supposed to help family unconditionally, and that charging him rent when he's unemployed is basically kicking him out in slow motion. He brought up how I said no rent for the first month like that meant it should just continue indefinitely no matter what. But I don't see it that way. I offered him a safety net, not a permanent free ride, especially once it became clear he wasn't putting in real effort to change his situation. I have my own bills, my own savings goals, and honestly watching him waste his days away while I'm the one absorbing the extra costs started to feel less like helping my brother and more like enabling him. Our parents are kind of split on this too. Some family members think I should just let it slide since he's going through a hard time, others think I'm totally justified. So tell me, was I wrong to start charging my brother rent after 2 free months when he wasn't putting in real effort to find work? Or is this exactly the kind of tough love that actually helps someone get moving again? Story 5. My abusive sister apologized years later, so I refused to just forgive her. Okay, so this one's a little heavy, but I need to get it off my chest. I'm 18, my sister is 20, and honestly, my entire childhood with her was rough. Like genuinely difficult in a way that's hard to explain unless you lived it. She was abusive toward me, yelling constantly, insulting me, making me feel small in ways that stuck with me for years. I actually started dreading coming home from school, and this started back in middle school for me. My mom worked a lot, so during those few hours after school when it was just the two of us alone in the house, there was almost always some kind of fighting or tension. It got to the point where I genuinely hated the idea of just being home. And look, there's honestly so much more that happened over the years that I could list out, but it would take forever to type it all, and honestly, reliving it all in detail isn't something I really want to do right now. But there's one thing she said to me that I don't think I'll ever forget, no matter how much time passes or how many apologies come my way. It's the kind of comment that just cements itself in your brain, replaying at random moments, especially when things are quiet and you're left alone with your thoughts. So fast forward to now, she recently came to me wanting to apologize for everything, for the years of yelling, the insults, all of it. And on the surface I know that's supposed to be a good thing, right? That's what you're supposed to want, an acknowledgement, an apology, some kind of closure. But when she actually said it, I felt nothing close to relief. If anything, I felt kind of angry, like an apology after years of damage doesn't just erase what happened or magically repair how I feel about her or about those years of my life. I told her I appreciated her saying it, but that I wasn't ready to just accept it and move forward like everything's fine now. She got upset, said I was being cold, that she's clearly changed and grown up, and that holding on to anger this long isn't healthy for me either. Maybe she's right about that part, maybe holding on to it isn't great for me long term. But I also don't think I owe her instant forgiveness just because she decided she was ready to apologize on her own timeline, years after the fact, when I was the one who actually lived through what she did, day after day, with no apology in sight back then. So tell me, am I wrong for not accepting her apology right away? Is there a difference between forgiving someone eventually and forgiving them the exact moment they decide they're ready to say sorry? And how long is too long to hold on to something like this? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.